Hello friends, myself Chetan Jadhav. In previous lecture, we have seen that homogeneous coordinate transformation and coordinate transformation types and their examples. So today's lecture we will start the next point, that is standardization in graphics software. So in that CAD/CAM system is an application software program supported with a graphic system as shown in figure first. That is the first model requirement. Whatever that design is there, the requirements. Then we have to do some application in software. We will then transfer that data to graphic system, that is the display terminal and input output devices. So this is the first computer graphics without standards. We are using this computer graphics without the standards. So in graphics system performs all functions related to the graphics techniques, and to perform these graphics functions the graphics system is embedded to the application system. Okay, so this is the function of the graphics system. We are embedding this graphics system to the application software function for the functioning their functions. When this done, the software becomes device dependent on the hardware. So this is the disadvantages. So our software becomes dependent on the hardware. So to avoid such a hardware dependency, certain graphics standards need to be formed, and for that following objectives were made for these standards. First, to permit picture data portability, to permit text data portability, and to permit program and object database portability. So this is the three major objectives for the making the system standards. So we have to permit the picture data portability, same text data, and program and object database portability. So this is the important for this making some objective of this standard. Then by considering above objectives, national and international organizations started working on this graphics standard. Okay, so just see the second figure that is a computer with graphics standards. In that we are just introducing kernel core system and device handler driver. Okay, so this is the graphics system with standard. So in that we are just considering the above objectives, and we are implementing this national and international organization started working on this graphics standard, and the major focus of this organization is to make the application software device independent. So they are focusing to make the independent this application software, and therefore graphics system is divided into two parts. One is a kernel core system which is hardware independent, and second is a device handler or driver which is hardware dependent. So this is the graphics system with standards. Why we are just dividing this graphics system into this two system, that is a kernel core system and device handler or driver system. So we'll see first kernel core system. It acts as the buffer between the application software and the specific hardware to ensure the independent and portability of the object. Kernel core system doing the just storage, buffer storage in between the application software and specific hardware, and ensure that the independency and portability of the object. This is the main function of this kernel core system, and it uses language binding to handle various other syntax issue. Okay, they are using language for binding purpose to handle the various syntax issue. This is the function of this kernel core system. And second is device handler. Once the function are taken, device handler will complete the required task of the CAD/CAM software, and device handler are provided by manufacturer at the time of the purchase. Okay, so function of this device handler, they are just complete the given required task of the CAD/CAM, and that device handler are provided by the manufacturer at the time of the purchasing only. So this is the some functions of this graphics system. We are just changing, or we are dividing that graphics system into two parts. In that computer graphics with standard, we are using this two device, kernel core system and device handler. So this will become the standards. So this is about the standardization in graphics software. So there are some standard graphics list is there, so we'll see one by one. But before going to see that software, so you have to see the some need of this graphics standards. 5 we are going to using this graphics standard. First, that is the application program portability, object data portability, picture data portability, and text portability. So already we have discussed that picture, object, text portability. So we have to some portability in terms of the picture object database. So that purpose we are going to using this standardization in graphics software. So this is the basic need of this standardization in graphics software. So next slide we will see the standard system. So this is the various graphic standard system. In that, first GKS, that is a graphic kernel system. Next PHIGS, that is a programmer hierarchical interface for the graphics standard. Next IGS, initial graphics exchange specification. Next STEP, that is a standard for exchange of the product model data. So these are the some standard graphic systems we are using for the computer graphics. So we will see one by one. First GKS, that is a graphic kernel system. So it is the first significant of graphics standard developed in 1970 for the computer graphics, and this package used for both 2D drafting and 3D modeling. So this is the actually first development in 1970, and in this package used for the both 2D and 3D modeling and drafting. So device independent, it is a independent device, and it can work with all type of input output devices. So it will work for the all input and output type of the device, like floppy device, then hard disk, like this. It is a working for all type of the input output devices. All text annotation are written and stored in natural languages. After this working graphic standards, they are just storing the all the data in the form of the natural languages. GKS supports picture data into two routines, which are primitives, elements, and their attributes. And that GKS, that is the graphics kernel system, they are stored in that part data or design data in the form of the primitives, means like there are different primitive circles, shapes like cone, sphere, and that elements, nodes, whatever information regarding that designs, attributes, they are storing at the well manner. So this is the GKS, that is a graphic kernel system graphics standard. Next PHIGS. In that PHIGS, programmer hierarchical interface for graphic standards. The best benefit from this graphic standard or GKS, it is the ability to handle dynamic graphics changes and supporting segmentation of the graphic display. So in previous graphic standard GKS, they are it is using for both 2D and 3D, but in PHIGS, it is gives more benefit over the GKS. In 3D, it is handle dynamic graphics changes in that software, or in that at the time of the modeling or drafting, that some dynamic graphic changes is there, that will be supported in the this PHIGS, and that is supported in the segmentation of that graphics display. It will support for the segmentation also. So this is more benefit over the GKS 3D. Some features that are specific to PGSI are not well supported by GKS, and there are more features they are supporting the PHIGS but not supported to the GKS. This is also benefits of this PHIGS. Then support for geometric animation in this graphic system, PHIGS, it is supported for the animation also, and very high interactivity in between that graphics. Hierarchical structuring of the data. So that much of the benefits that PHIGS will provide over the GKS. So this is the second type of the graphic standards. Next IGES, that is initial graphics exchange specification. So this is the working flowchart of the IGES. we have to input this IGS file into that software. So IGS file, then we have to do some post processing for that file. We are just inputting in this file into the computer system. After that we are going to do the pre-processing. After that we will get the new IGS file which is processed by the computer system, and that IGS file we are going to transferring the second CAD system by using this computer system. Okay, so this is the transferring only flowchart of this IGS format. IGS works on pre and post processing methodology. This format we are using basically pre and post processing format methodology. Then IGS are categorized into three types. That is, the first is geometric entities, annotation entities, and structure entities. So we are dividing this IGS format into three types. First, that is geometric entities, like that part design, all the information regarding that entities. Then annotation of that entities, we are doing different operations on that part. Next, structure entities, we are doing the different structure. So like this we are dividing this IGS into three format. So this is the IGS. So next point, that is a data exchange. We are exchanging data in CAD/CAM system. How that things we are going to see. So there are two type of the CAD/CAM data exchange. First, shape based format, that is indirect translator, and product data based format, that is a direct translator. So there are main two type in that CAD/CAM data exchange. So number of the software are available for CAD/CAM application. However, all CAD softwares do not necessary for support the CAM software. Okay, so thus if CAD/CAM are to be integrated, there must be method of the exchanging data from one software to the another software. So there is one method, or there is one software is there for data exchanging from the one system to the second system. So there are two type, indirect and direct, that is a shape based or product based. So we will start from the first shape based format, that is your indirect translator. So before going to this indirect, we will see the just information regarding the data exchange. And another need of the data exchange may occur in the places where drawings or models are to be given externally to other organization who may not have the same software for CAD/CAM. Means we are using data exchange for what purpose? When we want to exchange that data, or we want to transfer this data one system to another system. Why? Because in other places that drawing we want to that collect that drawing. So for that we have to given that drawing to external to other organization or other peoples. For that we are using this data exchange format. And for that CAD/CAM, this may results in data communication problems. Sometimes in between this data exchange we will get some communication problems. And there are four major areas where database information stored. One, that is a shape data. Second, non-shape data. Third, manufacturing data. And last is design data. So in that first, shape data, this consists of geometrical information and entity attribution. Example, dimension of the geometry. So in that first entity, that shape data, in that we are going to store the geometrical information regarding the all the materials, shape, size and attributes. Okay, in that first shape data. Second, non-shape data, this includes graphics data such as a model measuring units like inches and shaded images. Okay, so in that non-shape data means we are just store the information related to the units, colors, whatever that other things we are stored in this non-shape data. Okay. Next, third, manufacturing data. In that the information such as selection of the tools, NC tool path generation, tool design, bill of material, selection of the manufacturing process, that type of the things we are stored, or we are stored the data in the manufacturing data. And last, design data. In that design data, information related to the analysis such as mass properties, volume properties, inertia properties. There are two types of the CAD/CAM data exchange. One is a direct or indirect exchange. And that we will start from the first indirect, that is a shape based format, indirect exchange. So now you can see here in this arrangement a neutral file is developed, and the syntax of this file is governed by well-defined standards. Based on these standards, CAD/CAM software developing companies are providing the necessary interface to convert their data format into neutral format and finally send to the CAD or CAE or CAD/CAM or CAE software. So you can see here before transferring the data for the other software, in this image you can see here software X and software Y. Suppose I want to send that data from the software X to the software Y. We cannot directly send this file to destination. We have to do some pre and post processor. We have to create some neutral file from that source, and then we have to send that to the destination software. So before, or we have to start the first pre-processing from that given source file, then we have to create some neutral file, then after that we have to create some post-processing on that neutral file, and then we can send to that the file to the other software. So this is the indirect data exchange. So this is the well-defined standard. So this is based on the CAD/CAM software. Here company providing the necessary interference between this data format into the they will transfer this neutral format and then finally send to the required our destination software. So this is about the indirect. So neutral file example shape based, that is a DXF, that is a drawing extension format. Then IGS, it is also initial graphics exchange specification format. So this is the example of the neutral file format. Before exchanging the data, we have to create some neutral file in indirect exchange data, then you can easily transfer that to the other software. Next, that is a advantages of this indirect translation. By using this indirect data transfer, we will get large number of the CAD/CAM systems. Means it is most useful when there are we want to transfer this data with a large number of the system, then that time it is useful. Then it is a system independent, it is an independent system, so that will be benefits. Next, disadvantages, in data size is very big and requires more space and time. If the data whatever transferring from one system to another system, if the data is large, that time will be create the problem, and it requires more space and the time also. So that is the disadvantages. Not suitable for smaller number of the CAD/CAM systems. So it is also support for the large systems, means more number of the CAD/CAM system. So it is basically not suitable for the small number of the CAD/CAM system. So this is about the indirect data exchange in shape based format. Next, that is a direct data exchange by using the product data format. So in that direct data exchange, you can see here we can exchange the data in between different software with a direct form. There is no use of the pre-processing, post-processing, or any creating the neutral file. So you can see here there are 4 software, the CAD software, that is A, B, C, D. We can easily transfer the one data from the one system to another system directly. Okay, so in that indirect form we have to do some pre-processing, neutral file on that post-processing, and that then we will able to transfer that data from one system to another system. But in that you can directly send the data from one system to different systems. So this is about the direct data exchange. So example for this product data based format: SDF, EDIF, PDS. That SDF, standard product data exchange format; EDIF, electronic design interface format; PDS, product data exchange using STEP. So this is the example of this format of this direct data CAD/CAM data exchange. So this is about the product data based. So what are the advantages of the direct data exchange? So direct translators run more quickly. It will run more quickly because we are direct transferring data from one system to another system. Data files are compact and smaller in size. That data files which is smaller and compact in size. And disadvantages, not recommended for larger number of the CAD/CAM system. It is recommended only the smaller number of the CAD/CAM system. Okay, and vice versa in indirect data exchange. They are system based and can work only for given system. It will work for only specific system. Within that system, within that organization, they will work. Okay, that is also disadvantages. Outside that system, it will not work. So that is the main disadvantages of this direct CAD/CAM data exchange format. So this is about the CAD/CAM data exchange format. Okay, so today we have seen in this lecture, that is the first standardization in graphics software. 5, we are using the different standards for this system. How we will improve the graphics system, and what is the basic need of the graphics standards. Then various graphics standard, GKS, PHIGS, IGS. Then we have seen the data exchange format in that direct system and indirect system, and their advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so this is enough for the today's lecture. So remaining part we will see in next lecture. Thank you so much.